Take a slow breath. This is a story meant to guide your mind gently toward rest. Story woven with old myths, soft dreams, and the quiet wisdom of the night. Long before clocks existed, long before people named the stars, there was a moment called the first quiet. They were not rulers, nor warriors, nor distant deities. The seeker of our story is named Lyris. Lyris walked between worlds, the waking world of footsteps and voices, and the dreaming world where thoughts shimmer like reflections on still water. Tonight, Lyris followed a narrow path lined with pale blue flowers that glowed softly, as if lit from within. The path led toward the forest of quiet echoes, a place known only to dreamers, poets, and those who walk gently enough to hear the thoughts of trees. It was Gaia, someone who is ready to rest, someone listening. The trees slowly opened a pathway, revealing a faint shimmering in the air, a curtain of pale light, like moonbeams woven into fabric. Nothing here had sharp edges. The air glowed softly. Tonight, Lyris whispered, we follow the story of two souls who remind us what longing, trust, and gentle connection feel like. Far away, in a land wrapped in warm starlight, lived Psyche, a young woman whose presence felt like a candle flame on a peaceful night. Psyche often sat beneath the sky, listening to what others could not hear. The soft murmurs of night, the distant hum of starlight, the gentle rhythm of her own inner world. One night, she sensed something newer, feeling like a warm breeze brushing past her heart. Eros had watched Psyche for many nights, drawn not to her appearance, but to the calm glow of her spirit. He brought her gentle feelings, curiosity, comfort, and a warmth without name. Until one night, Psyche felt him more clearly than ever before. As she closed her eyes, she whispered, I wish someone understood me, without needing to see me. And Eros heard her. For the first time, he stepped closer, not in body, but in presence. It startled her, not because it was frightening, but because it felt so familiar, like remembering a melody from childhood. There was no face, no form, just warmth, trust, and a sense of being gently held by the night. And so began their connection. Night after night, Psyche entered a dream of soft corridors made of starlight. He spoke not of destiny, not of promises, but of breathing, resting, noticing. And Psyche felt seen in a way she never had before. Lyris's voice drifted gently over the dreaming pathway. Not all bonds need names. As you listen, let your shoulders drop, let your breath soften, and let the weight of the day slide off you like silk. In time, Eros guided Psyche to a place deeper within her dreams, a quiet room built of silver mist and moonlight. Psyche touched the air. It felt like warm water. And in quiet, we find what the waking world forgets. Tonight, you walk beside her. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the edges of the day blur. You are safe here. The world of the day feels far behind you now, like a shoreline you left long ago, while you drift slowly over a peaceful sea. Ahead, the path opens into a wide, moonlit field. In the distance, you see Psyche. Lyris speaks softly, almost in a whisper. Every soul that grows in love also grows in understanding, not to punish, but to reveal what was always within us. Psyche closes her eyes. Instead, she simply says, "If you wish to understand your own heart, let it walk through these 4 quiet tasks." Around Psyche, the moonlit field shifts and changes. The first task appears. The ground is covered in countless tiny seeds and grains different shapes, sizes and colors, all mixed together like a scattered puzzle. Psyche looks at them and sighs softly. "How can I possibly sort all of these?" she wonders. Lyris leans close to you and murmurs, "This is the trial of patience, the trial of attention, the trial of slowing down. At first, it feels overwhelming, but then something shifts." They begin to help her, 1 grain at a time, separating them into calm little circles. A voice rises from the ground, perhaps Gaia, perhaps the earth itself. No one sorts their life alone. As you listen, imagine your own thoughts as little grains. Some are worries, some are plans, some are dreams. You do not have to organize them all at once, 1 breath at a time, 1 grain at a time. The field, once chaotic, now looks peaceful. Little circles of sorted grains shine softly in the moonlight. The first task is complete. The scenery melts into flowing hills, washed in soft morning light. You see gentle animals grazing in the distance, their coats gleaming like sunlight on water. These are not fierce creatures. They move slowly, like living pieces of the sun. Lyris explains quietly, "This is the trial of balanced desire." Psyche thinks for a moment. Then she sits beneath a tree near the river that flows through the meadow. She does not chase. She does not force anything. She simply waits. A few strands drift toward her, carried by the breeze, gently landing at her feet. She only needs to notice what is already being offered. They are meant to arrive in their own time, like golden threads carried on a kind wind. You don't need to chase them. You only need to remain open. Below, you hear the murmur of water. Not loud, not rushing, just steady, like a calm voice speaking in a language made of sound alone. For a moment, Psyche feels small. She looks down at her hands. "What can I possibly do?" she whispers. But instead of forcing a way down, she speaks gently to the river. "If I am meant to carry a little part of you, help me do it safely and with respect." Overhead, a shadow moves across the sky. A great bird calm, with wide, steady wings, peers beside her. It is not here to dominate or to frighten, but to help. Psyche bows her head with gratitude. The river's voice rises through the air. Deep connection is not built on force. It is built on asking, listening, and trusting what answers you. They are like rivers. You cannot control their entire flow. The dreaming pathway now dims a little, not into fear, but into a deeper shade of calm. Psyche is asked to go below, to visit a realm of stillness, and bring back a small token of beauty. This is not a place of horror or punishment. Here, the air feels like a library of old feelings, memories resting on shelves, waiting quietly to be acknowledged. Psyche descends slowly. With each step, she feels parts of her own story rising gently to the surface. Moments she doubted herself, moments she was kind, moments she was unsure. At the bottom, she finds a simple, elegant box resting on a smooth stone pedestal. Inside is not anything frightening, no traps, no tricks. Psyche does not open it fully. She doesn't need to, she already understands. As she rises again toward the surface, Lyris speaks softly to you. Every soul must, at some point, visit its own depths. There is a quiet light in me that has never gone out. You are descending too, but into sleep, into your own quiet realm, where your light simply glows. Psyche returns from the 4 tasks changed, not in shape, but in understanding. She knows now that patience can be learned, desire can be gentle, trust can bring help when the path is too steep. In the dreaming pathway, the silver corridors appear again. The unseen presence of Eros approaches, warm and familiar. Now I understand, she says. You were never here to dazzle me. Eros smiles, though Psyche cannot yet see it. And you, he replies, have walked through your own shadows without losing your gentle light. In that moment, the air around them shifts. The room grows brighter, not harshly, but like starlight reflected on calm water. Now, Eros allows himself to be seen, not as a distant figure with power, not as a force to fear, but as a companion whose heart has also learned quiet. They look at each other, really look, not just with eyes, but with understanding. The dreaming pathway glows around them, and Lyris pauses in the telling of the tale. This is the shape of love that brings rest, they say. If you want, you can imagine yourself standing in that luminous room too, wrapped in a soft, gentle presence that asks nothing of you except to breathe and be. The story slowly begins to shift. The silver room fades into a grove of trees, their leaves dark and glossy, their shapes soft in the night. The air smells like rain and fresh leaves. Lyris turns to you and smiles. In the center of the grove stands a single laurel tree. Its branches are graceful, its leaves whisper softly with every breeze. A reminder that love also means listening, and that sometimes the most sacred choice is the choice to remain yourself. The night deepens, your breathing slows.